cactus and succulent growers, I'm Lynn. Welcome to Desert Plants of Avalon. And in today's video I'm going to be talking about my Parodia warasii that I have grown for 30 years, the history behind it and how I care for it. Guys, this is a series of videos where I talk about my old special cacti that I have in my collection, and today I'm going to be talking about my Parodia warasii. And this awesome gorgeous cactus packed with lovely pups is one that I got a very long time ago, 30 years ago, when I was just 23 years old. And I got it from a garden centre when I used to live in England, a garden centre called Knockcuts. And those of you who live in England might be familiar with that garden centre. It's still going today. And I always used to love to go to the cactus section. First place I used to go to when I went to the garden centres, a new cactus, and I'd get it. Now when I first got this, it actually was labelled, it's Parodia magnifica crossed with a warasii. But as it has matured and grown, I'm pretty sure it's a warasii and not just a magnifica, because the difference with magnifica, it is more globular, like a balloon shape, which I'm going to show you in a minute with my other Parodia magnifica. And the warasii grows more elongated, more stretched and taller as it ages. Now when I first got this cactus, it was just one little ball, as you can see, about this size of this one here. So you can see when they're young, the magnifica and warasii can look almost identical. It's only when they get older that you can start to tell they have a bit of different shape to them. And I then had a little greenhouse, a very tiny little greenhouse where I was living in England, that I put it in there. And this awesome cactus has come with me through multiple house moves. When I moved from England over to Ireland, it came across on the ferry with me, and then quite a few house moves when I was in the south of Ireland, and then over here now to the north of Ireland. And it is one that's very, very, very special. Being with me, as I say, it's part of me and part of my history, and it flowers the most gorgeous of yellow flowers during the spring and summertime. Beautiful, beautiful golden yellow flowers. That is common with Parodias. So I just want to show you the difference, first of all, before I talk about how I care for this gorgeous old beauty, between the Parodia magnifica, which can look very similar to, especially when they're young, and the warasii, which you can see it is a different shape entirely. I actually have to have my hand on here to support this, because as it has grown, as it's grown taller, I have to have it leaning against other plants in the polytunnel here. So I'm just going to take you down here to show you my other Parodia that's very lookalike. This is my Parodia magnifica. Also, I've had this a very long time as well, and I have made a separate video on this Parodia magnifica and how long I've had it and the history behind this one. So do go ahead and watch that video after this one if you want to know how I grow and the history behind this awesome Parodia magnifica. Another one here as well. This is Hunsy's gorgeous Parodia, as again it's more of the sort of taller grown one he's had for a very, very long time in his collection as well. So then I'm going to talk about how I care for my old beauty. So just going to take you out here now and talk. So then what I do, I make sure that this is potted up in a very well draining cactus soil. And I use 3 equal parts of a loam based soil. I use John Innes number 2, a brand by Clover, mixed with horticultural sand and horticultural grit at 3 equal parts. And like with all cacti, I keep this one dry over the winter rest period. I don't give any water at all to this cactus from probably the middle of September up until the beginning to the second week of April, depending on how the weather temperature is. But I keep it dry, and I have this in a clay pot. It can go in any type of pot. This is also one I will be planning on repotting in the spring, because it is quite desperate to be repotted. As I say, it's very top heavy, and it has grown multiple pups over the years. And I will start to water this awesome cactus from the April, as I mentioned, and I always make sure that the soil totally dries out before I water again. And as I say, I stop watering then completely from the middle of September up until the April time again, because they like to have a cool and dry winter rest period. And I would give this a tomato feed with every third watering that I give to this beauty in the spring and summer, and I use it at half the strength that they recommend for tomatoes. And the reason why I use tomato feed for cacti is because the high potassium encourages more blooms on your cacti, and this is a very lovely bloomer, and the tomato feed works really well. By the way, guys, if you want to know why I like to use tomato feed for my cacti and succulents, then do check a video I've made on why I like to use tomato feed for feeding my cacti and succulents. Links to that video will be up above. And then I will make sure that this has plenty of sunshine. It likes a nice sunny spot. However, like a lot of parodias, they don't like to be in scorching hot boiling sun 24/7 all over the, well, it wouldn't be 24/7 in the night time obviously, but you know what I mean, all the time. They can take a lot more shade. I find parodias will be quite easy bloomers even if you've got a bright window that doesn't get a lot of sun. But obviously a sunny position, either east, west or south, is best. If you only have a north facing window, then maybe put a grow light over during the summer to encourage more chance of flowers. But as I say, they're not a cactus that has to have a lot of intense bright direct sun like some other cacti do. They're quite easy to grow. They're also one of the easy type of cacti to grow and get as well in garden centres. The Parodia magnifica and the warasii are quite oftenly seen for sale, so it's a really good beginner's plant as well. As I say, I've had this 30 years, never ever had a problem with it. Also, I find it seems to be pretty much pest free. It's one of them cacti that very rarely gets mealybug, and I've never seen spider mite on this ever. What you might find with these type of cacti as they age, and that's with a lot of cacti, you see this here, this dark brown, that's actual natural aging and it's natural corking. As cacti mature, especially when they grow quite columnar like this, it's quite normal to have this dark woodiness at the bottom, and that is, the cactus isn't rotting, that is called natural corking. And I have made a complete video on natural corking on cacti and why it happens. It's completely harmless and it's aesthetic, and it's just a sign that the cactus is getting old like all of us really. And I actually like the woody sort of brown appearance at the base of cacti as they age. It adds character and it proves that there's age to the cactus. So then I like to give it a nice sunny spot, but as I mentioned, away from intense intense too much sunshine. They like a bright position with a bit of sun. And water every time the soil has dried out in the pot from April to mid-September. Cool, dry winter rest period. Ideally, don't let the temperature drop below 5 Celsius, which is 41 degree Fahrenheit in winter, because if they drop below that and it can get to like 2 or 1 C or below, especially if it drops below freezing, these cacti can suffer with a lot of black spotting and brown patches and that on their epidermis. And even if it's extreme, they can't take any frost, so they do need to be protected. So a good all-round winter temperature, 5 C, 41 Fahrenheit. I have the little heater on in the polytunnel that keeps it ticked over at 5 C. We're having a very cold spell at the moment, so it's doing its job. And that's pretty much it. A really easy-going cactus. As I say, it's one of the very few that I don't seem to have a problem with pests with as well. So 30 years in my collection, lovely old stunner. It's moved multiple times with me, and it is really, really special. So I wanted to share that little history behind my old stunner and how I care for it. So do you have this gorgeous cactus in your collection? Let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't done already, then do please subscribe, click the notification bell. Do also check my website for lots of regular blogs on there and articles and how to care for many different types of cacti and succulents. desertplantsofavalon.com. And I want to wish you all a fantastic cactus powered day. Yes, this is my baby.